It's strange how one small, stupid mistake can unravel an entire life. For me, it wasn't some grand explosion of betrayal. It wasn't a love letter left out, or lipstick on a collar, or a suspicious phone call in the middle of the night. It was a folder, a hidden one. A tiny digital graveyard for all the moments I thought I could bury and never face again. If I close my eyes, I can still see it. That soft glow from my phone screen, the faint hum of the ceiling fan, the comfort of the same bed we'd shared for nearly a decade. The folder sat there like a secret heartbeat, tucked behind 2 layers of encryption and a name that sounded like nothing: receipts. Ironically, that's exactly what it contained. Receipts of everything I had done wrong. Mark and I had been married for 12 years. We weren't the couple who screamed or slammed doors. We were the couple who slowly drifted, inch by inch, until we were more like polite roommates sharing a mortgage than lovers sharing a life. He worked long hours managing a logistics firm, and I worked from home doing remote marketing consulting. Our paths crossed mostly in the kitchen, his coffee brewing while I microwaved leftovers. We used to talk. God, we used to talk about everything. But somewhere between his exhaustion and my quiet resentment, those talks faded. We started living in silences. Comfortable ones at first, then suffocating. I never meant to cheat. I told myself that 100 times. But loneliness has a way of rewriting morality in slow increments. It started when I met Tyler. He was part of a creative agency that partnered with one of my clients. Younger than me by about 6 years, with that kind of easy charm that always felt dangerous. He complimented my work, said I had a brain that made chaos look beautiful. It sounds silly now, but I hadn't heard anything like that from Mark in years. At first, it was harmless. Slack messages, late-night project calls that lingered longer than they needed to. Then one night he said, "You know, I think about you even when we're not working." And I didn't shut it down. I should have, but I didn't. That's when the messages started turning into something else. Something that made me feel alive again. Desired. Seen. I told myself it was just flirting. Just a fantasy to make me feel young again. But fantasies don't usually involve hotel rooms and photos you promise to delete later. I made a folder for them. Not because I wanted to keep them forever, but because I didn't know how to let go yet. When the guilt got too heavy, I ended things with Tyler. Or maybe he ended it. I don't even know anymore. It fizzled after Mark almost caught me once when a message came through during dinner. That was over a year ago, but I never deleted the folder. I told myself it didn't matter, that it was buried, encrypted, hidden behind layers no one would ever dig through. Until the night he came home early. It was raining that evening. I remember because I had just finished drying my hair and was scrolling through my phone while lying on the bed. I wasn't looking at the folder. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just scrolling aimlessly through photos, maybe half drunk on boredom and routine. Then I heard the garage door. My stomach dropped. Mark wasn't supposed to be home until Friday. It was Tuesday night. The sound of the garage door had always meant something comforting. The sound of him coming home safe, of dinner soon, of us settling in to watch a show together. But that night, it sounded like a warning bell. I scrambled up from bed and almost laughed at myself. Why was I nervous? I hadn't done anything wrong lately. But there was something about the way the house felt when he walked in. Heavy, quiet, wrong. He came up the stairs with that tired, deliberate walk of his. I could hear the weight of his shoes on the hardwood. When he reached the bedroom door, he just stood there for a second. I remember the way his hand lingered on the frame. "Hey," I said, smiling too wide. "You're home early." He didn't answer right away. He just looked at me with that unreadable expression, the one that always scared me more than anger. Then he set his suitcase down and said quietly, "Show me the folder." The world went silent. "What folder?" I asked, pretending confusion. My voice cracked halfway through the sentence. He sighed. Not the frustrated kind, but the defeated kind. The one labeled receipts. The one you keep hidden behind your password vault. He took a USB drive out of his pocket and placed it on the dresser. The one that automatically backed up to our shared cloud. My blood went cold. I had completely forgotten that the cloud sync was still active from years ago. A safety net we'd set up to automatically save family photos and files. He must have found it. He must have seen everything. "Mark, please, just show me," he said again, his voice flat. I picked up my phone with shaking hands, unlocked it, and tapped open the folder. The screen lit up with thumbnails, photos, videos, screenshots, fragments of another life. He stared at it for a long time, not even touching the phone, just staring. Then he said, "How long?" My throat tightened. "A few months." His jaw flexed. "How long, really?" "Almost a year." He nodded slowly, like he already knew the answer. Then he sat down on the edge of the bed, hands clasped, eyes fixed on the floor. "I just want to understand," he said after a long pause. "What did I do that made you need that?" I didn't have an answer. I told him it wasn't about him, that I was lonely, that I felt invisible, that it was stupid and meaningless. He didn't say anything for a while. Then he looked at me with those eyes I used to feel safe in and said, "Once you start keeping photos you have to hide from your husband, it's already over." He left that night. No yelling, no fighting, no drama. Just grabbed a few things, walked out into the rain, and never looked back. The next few days were a blur. I barely slept. I kept staring at my phone, scrolling through that folder until I hated myself. Every image looked tainted, every message a knife. I deleted them, then restored them, then deleted them again. It felt like trying to dig out a splinter that had already become part of my skin. Tyler reached out a few days later. "Are you okay?" he texted. I didn't respond. I didn't even know what to say. He didn't love me. Not really. I was just a distraction, a thrill. And I wasn't even mad about it. I'd been the same to him. What hurt most was realizing how much I'd destroyed something real for something that never was. When the divorce papers came, Mark didn't ask for much. He didn't want revenge or to ruin me. He just wanted peace. He wrote one line in his note to me before signing, "I hope you find what you were looking for." Because it wasn't me. Months went by. The house felt emptier every day. His side of the closet looked like a scar. The pillow beside mine never moved. I started working more, taking on new clients, burying myself in anything that made me feel useful again. But at night, I'd still check my phone. Not for Tyler, not for Mark. Just out of habit to feel connected to something. The silence was suffocating. My friends didn't understand. They told me everyone gets lonely, that I could have talked to him, that it was just a phase. But it wasn't a phase. It was something darker. It was me needing to feel wanted so badly that I destroyed the only person who ever truly did. A few months later, I ran into Mark at a grocery store. He was in the produce aisle, laughing at something a woman beside him had said. She was pretty. Not in a flashy way, but in that easy, confident way I used to be. He looked happy. Really happy. He didn't see me. Or maybe he did and just chose not to. I stood there with a basket of things I didn't even remember picking up, watching him move on in real time. And for the first time, I realized he was never coming back. I walked out of the store and sat in my car for half an hour. No tears, no panic. Just stillness. The kind that settles in when you finally accept the consequences of your own choices. It's been almost a year now. I live in a smaller place, a quiet apartment downtown. The kind of place that feels temporary, even though I signed a long lease. I still wear my wedding ring sometimes, though I don't know why. Maybe as punishment. Maybe because part of me still belongs to him, even after everything. I deleted that hidden folder for good. Not just from my phone, but from every backup. every device. But sometimes I swear I still see it. In dreams, in reflections, in the corners of my memory. Like it's still out there somewhere, haunting me. Reminding me that the worst thing I ever did wasn't cheating. It was believing I could hide it forever. Every so often, I open my email drafts and type out a message to Mark. Something simple, like, "I'm sorry for everything." But I never hit send, because sorry doesn't fix what I broke. It just acknowledges that I finally understand what I lost. And I do. I understand now. That the folder wasn't just hidden on my phone. It was buried in me. A collection of all the lies I told myself to justify betraying the man who loved me more than anyone else ever will. He found my hidden folder. But what he really found was the truth about who I became when I stopped loving myself enough to be honest.